All right, so let's talk. Brian here for quantlabs.net as usual. We are going to talk about position tables. I am going to load up a tool. Just so everybody knows, I'm switching over to MySQL from Postgres. I had some driver problems, and I'm just too lazy to figure them all out with Postgres on the Java side. So I had much further success with MySQL. So what I've done is I've created in my workbench here, I've created a table. A table called positions, and it just contains all these fields, columns, ID position, short symbol, entry timestamp, entry price, stop loss percentage is a target, the soft target percentage, and we also have a long. We keep track of the number of positions or number of shares or whatever we're buying and the quantity we're buying. We may also want to keep track of the beta as well, just for statistical purposes. This is a condensed version of my so-called AK-47 position table that I've had originally. I put in some fake data in here. The short symbol, the symbols are going to be loaded in from a symbol table that I'll have for futures, indexes, ETFs, no different than what I've had in the past with the AK-47. But I'm just focusing on positions. So what are we doing? Well, if you come into my code blocks, where does that mean I have to load in my code blocks? Let me just see what we got here. You can see I'm properly done some proper arrangements here. No, it doesn't look like I've got it. Okay, no problem. See an available. Okay, so alrighty. So what we got here is I've got a C file called MySQL test. It's a C file. So let's take a look at it. I've shown the resources of where I've got the source code from and just kind of modified it. So essentially it's very simple. Simple and stupid works sometimes the best way. So what we're doing is we've got a couple of functions in here with the MySQL connector library that you download from MySQL, the site. And basically what we're doing is we have a main and a finish with errors. So let's go through the main. We connect into it, initialize the connection, just creating some garbage string data. We don't really need that. Check on the connection. If there's an error, drop the whatever you're doing and display error. So essentially what we're doing here is we're trying to make an attempt into the database of MySQL, which is obviously running. We've got a local host, a root, and a highly secure and scrambled password, as I've always used. We indicate our test database. So if I go into the workbench here, we've got our database, which is this test DB. So I'm going to assume you know how to use all this fun and good stuff. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. Now this is the actual insert statement. Now if you go into the workbench, you can quickly go in and create SQL statements for the insert. For instance, if you go under create table, or you want to do drop or anything like this, alter table, and in there somewhere you'll find commands for an insert as well. So you can take that, what comes up in this query, and then kind of modify it for C through, as you can see what I've done here, and make a string out of it, or in my case a pointer character. And all we're doing is we're just querying that table, positions table, with this statement. and I'm just going to put some data in there, and we close the connection and exit. Simple, eh? So let me run it as is. You can compile it as I have done before. Here's a compile statement with the library for the MySQL. So if I was to run that, we can then run the final bin, or I like to call it executable from the Windows world, and run it. So here you can see it says duplicate entry at 1132. If I go into the check out the source, MySQL test. Damn. Obviously you need .c. .c. You'll see that whatever the ID I used, it already exists. So I have to change that. So I'll put this at I don't know, something unique, 1138 or something like that. Okay, so let me recompile, and you'll see that GCC, where there's my compile statement, run my MySQL executable. Now, if I go into my workbench and do a select star on that table, you'll see that the new row exists here, the 1138. Okay, so that works. So that's for the C side. Now, let's check out the Java side. Now, I just started realizing there's some bizarre errors in NetBeans, and God, it really gets to me with these shite IDEs. Rarely do you get these problems. I don't think you can get these problems in Visual Studio. But anyways, there's just some dumb project copy libs, and I tried all the internet solutions, and none of them work. I'm just wasting my time with this IDE. So now I'm jumping into Eclipse, just so you know. So I made an Eclipse project, Java application. It's called MySQL Position. Just so everybody knows, you got to make sure that you include your reference library of the MySQL connector Java, whatever version you have, that syncs up with the right version of your MySQL that you're using. And all you need to do is come under properties, let me think here, properties, Java build path, and you can, I believe, add it somewhere in here under libraries. Just go add jar, add external jar, point to that jar file. That's it. That's one thing you definitely need to do. Java is so much fun with these wonky dependencies that you got to include. All right, so knowing that, let me show you what we're doing very fast. So we load in the necessary SQL from the SQL connector, MySQL. We build all these statement data. Some we need, some we don't need. Essentially what we're doing is we need to put it within a try, obviously, for exceptions. Connect into the database, the same database, root, highly secure password as usual. Do a create statement. Actually, no, that's redundant. We don't really need that. Or do we? Nope, I don't think so. Maybe this is, I can't remember if we need that, but I include it anyways. May be redundant, but whatever. We have a select star from the testDB table or database with the positions table I've shown in the workbench. Here, testDB positions table. Where's my Eclipse? And then all we are doing is reading with the execute query that select star, print out the results. Now, when you come into the results method, what you need to be aware of is I'm only really just displaying some of the data. You could put them all in there with all the columns if you want. I'm just showing what the first three. Let me, and then we have the close of the connection, and that's kind of it. So everything's all done within the read database table, yeah, let's run it. So typically I just go run as Java application. Here's the data that gets generated, all the tables, or sorry, all the rows in that table, and that's it. It's good to go. Next step is to take this table and then basically on the C side, where is it? Where am I? Here. I just showed you in the gedit MySQL test.c. So what we're going to do is we're going to embed this code into my Simulink code generated C. When there's a trigger, it's going to put the order in. So it's going to do an entry into the market, but it's going to be managed through that table, through the positions table. Okay, that's the goal. On the other side of the Java, what we're going to have is we're going to have basically a glorified, we'll call it a simplified but glorified position manager. And essentially what it's going to do is going to read the database, listen to newly added rows of data, of basically orders, and for each order it's going to generate a signal to Interactive Brokers TWS to put the order in. And then we have to run another process for Java to manage that open position. So that will manage the close or the exit and all the conditions on the close. So essentially, we're going to have two files for every strategy model. We're going to have a code-generated model for entry, and then we're going to have an associated, probably in Java, a Java class that will manage open positions and close or exit, do a market exit on those positions based upon what we'll call a custom class. Now, I'd like to be able to house it all in one environment, but because we're having to use two different languages specifically for interactive brokers in Java, the API, so we had to break them up between the C and the Java. If I was able to do to do interactive brokers API using C, I'd be awesome. I might try to look for one right now, but I just wanted to let you know what's going on. All right, have a good day, and we'll see you in the next step. All right, later.